NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
If you had lunch with Meghan Markle, you'd be stunned at how dumb she was. Not because she's black, because I wouldn't think she was black if I looked at her, because she's an actress who was on the show Suits.
Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's life is hard.
Yeah,
you were
true.
the prince of
That's
a goddamn country who dressed up as a fucking Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
It's Harry, whose memoir just broke the Guinness record for fastest selling nonfiction book of all time. The story of Prince Harold and his frozen yogurt slinger is so popular, they're now releasing a version for kids. I don't know if you know about this. It's a twist on The Princess and the Pea. It's called The Prince and the Penis, and it's...
Now for the tricky part. Place in microwave. What is microwave? I don't think we have any of that.
Are you fucking dumb?
It's a microwave, silly. Don't talk to me like that, you bitch! I'm a fucking duchess! Ugh! Ugh! Shake that off! Oh! Damn!
Meghan Markle has landed a title no one would want. One of the most disliked public figures of the year, the narrator sets up her journey from a largely overlooked actress to a duchess who, in this telling, became a lightning rod for ridicule across late-night TV, comedy.
Gone on Oprah, I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. You didn't Google these motherfuckers?
The narration frames Chris Rock as someone who immediately saw through Meghan's shock over royal controversy. In this version of the story, he viewed her reaction not as innocence, but as disbelief that never felt convincing.
What the f*** is she talking about? She didn't know. The fuck is the royal family? They're the original racists.
Then the focus shifts to the baby skin tone controversy, one of the biggest flashpoints in the entire saga. The narrator presents it as the moment Chris Rock took on the most explosive part of the narrative.
That's like marrying into the Budweiser family and going, they drink a lot. This motherfucker's invested in slavery like it was Shark Tank.
After Chris Rock broke the ice, the tone changed everywhere. The narrator suggests that once one major comedian said the quiet part out loud, others felt free to pile on, with Joe Coy stepping in next on a massive award stage.
They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people want to know how brown the baby gonna be.
Award show hosts usually play it safe, but here the narration paints Joe Coy as someone who ignored that rule completely. His jokes are framed as cutting straight to the couple's biggest criticism.
Just a great series about a rich, white, dysfunctional family, all scheming. Oh no, that's The Crown. That's The Crown. I'm sorry.
The Netflix deal becomes the next symbol of excess, described as a fortune spent on content that never truly connected. From there, the narrator pivots to Jimmy Kimmel, setting him up as the next host, ready to dismantle their public excuses.
How great was Imelda Staunton in The Crown? Wasn't she amazing? Her portrayal of the Queen was so good. Prince Harry called her for it and asked her for...
The narration mocks the idea of fleeing to America to escape racism, presenting it as a contradiction too obvious to ignore. That criticism leads directly into Harry's memoir, which the narrator positions as another easy...
Turns out Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix.
Harry's memoir is recast here as less a revelation and more a drawn-out complaint from a man cashing in on family drama. The narrator uses that beat to hand the story off to Jimmy.
Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things are bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism.
The pretzel bag moment is reframed as a perfect example of wealth losing touch with reality. From there, the narrator broadens the point, saying the couple kept retelling their story through every major platform available.
It's Harry, whose memoir just broke the Guinness record for fastest selling nonfiction book of all time. The story of Prince Harold and his frozen yogurt slinger is so popular, they're now releasing a version for kids. I don't know if you know about this. It's a twist on The Princess and the Pea. It's called The Prince and the Penis, and it's...
Interview after interview, documentary after documentary, the narrator argues that nothing was ever enough. The tone here suggests not sincerity but growing desperation, which opens the door for another late-night roast.
Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
It's another bag.
That confuses people.
This, we're just gonna put into a different...
The M and H nickname exchange is rewritten as branding disguised as intimacy. The narrator presents it as a strained attempt to look relatable while feeling even more curated and artificial.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
By the time SNL turns your marriage into a sitcom premise, the narrator implies, you've become larger than scandal and smaller than serious. Trevor Noah enters as a contrast, someone who initially aimed more at the monarchy than at Meghan.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! No! I refuse! I'm sick of...
At this stage, Trevor is presented as a defender rather than a critic. The narrator emphasizes that his early jokes targeted the institution around Meghan, not Meghan herself.
Elon built electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
The story then widens into a bigger contrast. Royal marriages once shaped nations, but now the narrator says the grand ambition has shrunk to Hollywood favors and entertainment deals. It's framed as a fall from dynasty building to career.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Trevor's shift becomes part of the narrative itself. The rewrite here casts his turning point as the moment the image changed from royalty with legacy to royalty chasing relevance.
And I know some people are disappointed by the name Archie, but there's one person who's super excited, the Queen. Yeah, because you know for the last 9 months, she's been like, please don't be Jamal, please don't be Jamal, please don't be Jamal.
The contradiction is simple and brutal, demanding privacy while publishing books and launching media tours. The narrator distills Bill Maher's point into one question. If you hate attention so much, why keep monetizing it?
Queen summoned everyone to a private meeting. Everyone attended except Meghan Markle. And I'll be honest, I don't blame Meghan for not going, because nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. We've all seen Get Out. We know how this shit ends.
Even those keys. Rose, now! Now, the keys! Be careful, bro.
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
Here the rewrite leans into contrast. The Queen is presented as embodying restraint and discipline, while Harry and Meghan are framed as unable to understand the power of silence.
Prince Harry really did that. At a movie premiere last year, he asked the CEO of Disney to hook his wife up with voiceovers.
The narrator treats Bill Maher's critique as a mood shared by the audience, then hands the baton to Nikki Glaser. Her role in the story is to strip the romance away and read Meghan's rise through the lens of fame and strategy.
You gotta admit, the monarchy has fallen off, right? No, because back in the day, it used to be like, if you marry my daughter, I'll give you Bergen.
This section rewrites the marriage as a career move wrapped in a fairy tale. It becomes the bridge from American late-night criticism to the sharper, more unforgiving tone of British comedians.
And now it's like, my wife actually does a pretty good Timon. You should hear her. Come on, baby, do the thing. Hakuna Matata, do the thing.
The narrator zeroes in on a contradiction that lands especially hard in British comedy. A woman associated with independence and feminism, giving it all up the moment royalty enters the frame.
They want it both ways. You know, you can't be, these people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention, and then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
Now the criticism turns financial. The narration emphasizes public anger at the idea of Meghan benefiting from taxpayer-backed privilege while continuing to publicly complain about the life it funded.
They just strike me as creatures of that generation. You know, you're just fragile. Just take a hint from the Queen, the recently departed.
Never complain, never explain, and rarely be heard speaking.
Kelly Osbourne's blunt attack is reframed as a demolition of the victim narrative. The rewrite sharpens the point. Hardship is universal, but privilege makes public self-pity.
You're complaining about your hard life, and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
It's ridiculous. I totally agree.
The narrator argues that no amount of image repair can erase Harry's past. That becomes the setup for Simon Brodkin, who enters not as a hater from the start, but as someone willing to watch the full documentary before judging.
And I will not bend the knee and just go along with the nonsense. That's what's so annoying about them. The most of all, they insist that you go along with their nonsense and their insanity and their fragility.
The documentary briefly touched on serious issues, but lost viewers the moment it drifted into self-mythology and over-curated intimacy. Sympathy, once available, evaporated fast.
She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world. And now she's over there and she's like, oh, this isn't what I thought.
What's the point of being famous in a castle?
Royal protocol is rewritten here as something obvious, not mysterious. The narrator's point is simple. If you're entering one of the oldest institutions in the world, learning the rules should not come as a shock.
If she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. Fighting for Prince. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She just got lost.
By this point, the narrator says, even the couple's security complaints had become exhausting rather than persuasive. That rising frustration becomes the gateway into Conan O'Brien, who takes the ridicule in a more absurd visual direction.
Said Meghan Markle is, of course, a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job.
Meghan's jam venture is rewritten as a perfect symbol of her brand. Expensive, polished, and desperate to appear grounded. From there, the narrator sets up John Oliver as someone too measured to attack carelessly, which makes his criticism hit harder.
The royal family, right, if you can imagine, they're like our Kardashian. Prince Harry is very much our Kanye. He occasionally dresses as a Nazi, and he f***ed up.
When even a careful analytical comedian signals that change seems unlikely, the narrator presents that as more than a joke. It becomes a verdict. Then the story moves beyond stand-up and TV into meme culture and satire, where the mockery only grows.
Harry and Meghan say they'd now like to split their time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada.
Spitting Image is framed as capturing the contradiction at the heart of Meghan's public persona, insisting on goodness and humility while talking down to everyone around her. The satire works because it exaggerates what the narrator believes was already visible.
I think Harry's a twat. He's a whining, whinging, complaining, woe is me, I'm the only one that's ever had mental problems.
The puppet parody of Meghan's cooking show is rewritten as a ruthless summary of lifestyle branding gone absurd. Everyday basics are elevated into luxury wisdom, and the narrator treats that as the scam made visible.
Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's f***ing life is hard.
Yeah,
you were the prince of a goddamn country who dressed up as a f***ing Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
This beat sharpens the satire even more. Breathing, decorating, and ordinary habits are repackaged as profound guidance. The rewrite keeps the narrator's message intact. Simple living turned into performative monetization.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story, I f***ing hate them.
The narrator presents this puppet scene as the one that may have crossed the line from mockery to exposure. In that framing, the comedy worked because it suggested control, tension, and a less polished truth underneath the image.
They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H and M, and I just thought, oh, do f*** off.
Privacy becomes the next target. The rewrite emphasizes the contradiction of wanting distance from the spotlight while staying close enough to celebrity culture to benefit from it whenever needed.
Harry says, how do you explain to someone who just started dating that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother?
How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother and that you will need to curtsy, especially to an American? Like, that's weird.
And I'm thinking, maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the queen.
I don't think they will change because I don't think they have the capacity to, but they obviously should.
Every puppet scene, the narrator argues, reinforced the same dynamic. Harry diminished, Meghan expanding, and satire saying what straight commentary could not. That leads directly into the next escalation. South Park turning the entire saga into a full episode about hypocrisy.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things after 6 episodes. I wanted to attack.
Now, I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures, so I found a museum employee who's temporarily storing.
Here, the memoir is reframed as so self-pitying that it becomes children's book material. The narrator's rewrite keeps the joke clean and clear. Harry's complaints were easy enough to parody that the satire practically wrote itself.
Oliver, you have generously offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe.
Yeah, that's correct. And if I may, I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex.
He got out of copping and then became a food broker, which we're like, come on, that's
What?
CIA, right?
Yes.
And
food
he's like,
brokers.
no, I really am a middleman for jars of jam.
He works for Meghan Markle.
Yes. My
Really
dad-
tiny jams, harvestable jams.
Yes, exactly.
Made from the oils of Montes.
Now for the tricky part. Place in microwave. What is microwave? I don't think we have any of that.
Are you fucking dumb?
It's a microwave, silly. Don't talk to me like that, you bitch! I'm a fucking duchess! Ugh! Ugh! Shake that off! Oh! Damn!
The final voiceover beat distills South Park's core accusation, demanding privacy while chasing visibility at every turn. In the narrator's version, that contradiction is the thread tying the entire public backlash together.